I don't know of something harder than watching your kids struggle, let alone fail.
Sure.
Right? Because failure in our society is really not that acceptable.
It's not celebrated unless you're the very best at what you do. Because if you're the very best at what you do, failure is part of the formula.
Well,
so you've embraced it and you have a different relationship with it than the masses who are okay with mediocrity.
Well said.
Right?
That was a good little rant.
Did you know that I have 3 really complicated relationships in my life?
With me, myself, and I?
Close. My relationship with money, my relationship with people, and my relationship with self. And they're all connected together because when my relationship with money got out of whack, it totally had an impact on those other relationships. That, my friend, is what we call having financial sobriety.
So who are you?
I'm Matthew Grishman. Who are you?
Jim Gebhardt.
And we're a couple of financial advisors trying to have an untraditional conversation about our favorite topic, money.
Let's go.
Hey, Tribe. Ace here. Let's pick up where the guys left off on Graduation Mindset, Part 2, Your Children.
That's one of the best ways to invest in your children. And that I see a lot of parents missing out on opportunities to invest in children because they got their heads firmly planted up their ass because of Dave Ramsey. Seriously, because they've been brainwashed. We've got an incredibly strong church culture in our environment, and Dave Ramsey's built his entire platform using the back of the church, and he has brainwashed thousands and thousands of people into this shame about debt. And how many children have missed out on incredible opportunities because mom and dad are now not willing to use debt.
We call it investing.
Right.
This is all our framework and our languaging around intentionality.
Sure.
Because he has a message, right? We're all messengers. And messages land when they're delivered by certain messengers.
Sure.
Right?
Well, as you've said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
So his philosophy, his belief system is that debt is not just bad, but it's probably almost so far as to say is evil.
Right. Like the devil.
And while we're not on the opposite side of the coin, which would be a Grant Cardone or a Robert Kiyosaki,
right,
where their leverage is beyond comprehension.
Right. Tens of millions of dollars.
If not hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
Right? I'm not trying to pick apart semantics, but, you know, you and I have a very strong belief system around this concept of using debt to make strategic, intentional investments.
Absolutely.
Not mindless spending.
Yes. And I was one of those people that for a little while I started leaning into what Dave was saying about debt because it was really easy for me to blame debt on my problems. My problems were caused by debt, not my choices.
Right.
Not the way I chose to use debt.
Right.
So debt became the evil empire in my life. Damn it, if debt didn't exist, I wouldn't have been the train wreck with money.
Sure.
It was very easy to blame debt.
And you'd love yourself more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
Sure, because
if it was debt's fault,
right,
then I'm off the hook.
Absolutely.
Right. I'd find another reason to hate myself.
Okay.
Well, any time I blame something else for my own choices, right? That's just another form of self-loathing, right? It's not exhibiting unconditional love with yourself, right? You're scapegoating, right? That's not unconditional love. Unconditional love is looking in the mirror and going, hey, you, I'm proud of you. I love you. I believe in you, but we got to get our shit together, right? Like, you're responsible for this. You did this. You got to own this and you got to fix this.
100%.
Let's go. Let's do this.
What a revolutionary concept that would be in the world today. I mean, come on. To look in the mirror and to take accountability for your actions, whether they're good or bad. I mean, okay, just go into fairy tale land with me for a second.
Yes.
And what would happen to all of the isms? What would happen to big pharma? What would happen to credit card companies? What would happen to casinos?
Well, if
we were able to look in the mirror and take accountability for our shit,
everything would go away. That would all go away.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you and I, and we're back on part 2 of graduation here. And you
Are
kind of,
we? Not part 47?
well, the tribe is joining us mid-conversation. You and I got ramped up and started before I think we were officially going here today. But that's okay. Welcome back. You and I, and we're going to keep this conversation going. You and I have always, not always, but in the last 15, maybe 20 years, have tried to live our lives by some very simple principles.
Whether we knew them or not at the time.
Correct. And well, I mean, so much of what we do, brother, is hindsight, right? Is looking back in the rearview mirror.
We're really archaeologists.
Absolutely. And we're finding some fossils this week.
Some fabulous fossils.
Absolutely. When we look back on what we value and how we show up and how we've shown up, we've kind of identified these 5 principles that we call 5 to Thrive. And this is something that, again, as a parent, to try to live this way yourself and show your children, no matter where they are in life and what age they are, what this looks like. I mean, this idea of taking accountability is part of it, right? Principle number 1, show up prepared and on time. That's lovely. We don't do it perfectly all the time. In fact, Ace reminded me that we occasionally are a little tardy coming to studio.
Yes, well, hang on. We'll get to that.
But
we'll get to how we address that.
We were on time today.
Yes.
We were early today.
And I took,
very prepared.
And I took the Douglas Boulevard exit.
Oh, you did extra credit this morning.
Well, yes. Janine and I, who is accompanying us, Janine Keeperman, who's here in studio with us today.
Our new paraplanner.
Who's new on our team.
Yeah.
We were engrossed in conversation, and the next thing I knew, it was Auburn Boulevard.
You're in Roseville.
I was like, whoopsie dips. And we were still on time.
You get extra credit for the drive today.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Principle number 2.
Well, I got to interject something here.
Okay. We're still on 1.
Well, it's actually before all of that.
Okay.
And we've said it on prior shows, but I think if we're having a greatest hits episode, it needs to be said again.
Okay.
That with our 4 children, and growth mindset and all this good stuff that we're going to dive into in part 2 today, is I am absolutely passionate about the fact that if they learn how to work and apply effort, I really don't care what they study. I really don't care academically what they pursue. But Beth and I have gone overboard with these 5 to Thrive principles.
Absolutely.
Because if at the end of the day, all you have are skills in these 5 things we're going to share, I think you can be wildly successful in life.
Absolutely.
Wildly successful in life. Because as I've looked at various industries, whether it's our industry or other industries that business owner clients that we love working with, I can't help myself. I'm a perpetual student. I get the chills just thinking about learning another industry, learning how another business navigates in this world. And I think the bar, sadly, is extraordinarily low.
Absolutely.
In terms of trying to become excellent at your craft and to raise the level of your business to a level of excellence.
Yeah.
And if everyone on your team, if everyone in your family, if everyone in your tribe could abide by these 5 to Thrive that we're going to share with today,
nothing else matters.
I, honest to God, think the world would be a much different place.
Absolutely. And I love, I mean, this was one of the most important things I learned watching you and Beth raise your 4. I can't believe it's only 4. I thought for a minute there you guys had like 12 children. For some reason, 4 just seems like few for you guys.
4 was ample.
Ah, okay.
That was for my mom.
Maybe because they're all grown up now. It just feels less. When we were in it raising your 4 children together, it felt like there was more. Granted, I threw 2 in the mix as well, so we were kind of a Brady bunch. It really stuck with me how you were never really about pushing your children into a specific direction. It was really just about these principles, loving them unconditionally in a sense that, hey, whatever you want to pursue, as long as you're happy and you're connected and you're working hard. I mean, that the proof finally came for us as well last winter, not this winter, but the winter before, winter of, what was that, 22, I guess, when Lucas wanted to move to Mammoth Lakes, California and work as a gondola operator on the mountain.
And it was a mammoth winter, I believe.
Oh, it was the greatest winter in Mammoth history. we drove him down. I mean, for us, it was like moving our son into the college dorms,
100%,
right?
100%.
He's moving into his first apartment at 19 years old, and we wanted to be there with him. I will never forget the reaction from Sandy, the head of housing, when we walked in the housing office. And Lucas stuck his hand out, looked her in the eye, and said, "Hi, I'm Lucas Grishman. Good to meet you." Something I'm so proud of watching my son do. And she looked at him and then looked behind him and pointed at me and said, "Who are you?" "Well, I'm Lucas's dad." "Well, what are you doing here?" "What do you mean, what am I doing here?" "I'm here helping my son." And she just had this puzzled look on her face like I had an upside down head or something. In my 40 years of working in this housing department, I don't know if I've ever experienced this before. You do understand, Mr. Grishman, most of the young adults who work here on the mountain are generally not welcome in their home anymore, or they're running away from something, or mom and dad have said, "Get the heck out." This is not necessarily usually a job most parents are supportive of. They'd rather see their child in college or interning at Merrill Lynch. And yet here you are.
Or trying out for the Olympics.
Or trying out for, the Olympics and Major League Baseball. But yet here you are supporting your son. And the relationship we have with Lucas as a result, and, now he's approaching 21 years old. He lives in Truckee. He's transferred from Altera's Resort in Mammoth to where he works now at what was once Squaw, now Palisade Tahoe. He's not even 21 years old yet, and I can't remember the last time he asked me for $1. He supports himself. He's happy. He's connected with people. I now send him a Zelle request. I send him and Miles, his older brother, Zelle requests for their car insurance payment. We still have our insurance together, but they pay their own freight. Within 10 minutes, Lucas is paying me every month on time. The other one? I got to choke it out of him a little bit, but that's another story. We'll get into him later. He's got other things that I'm proud papa about. But this one, man, the fact that Lucas has embraced 5 to Thrive. He shows up on time. He does what he says. He finishes what he starts. When he makes a mistake, he owns it and fixes it. He says, "Please, thank you, and you're welcome." Those are the 5 principles we've taught our children.
And with that, that's a wrap. No, I'm being funny.
Right.
That's the whole show, folks.
Show up on time, do what you say, finish what you start, say please, thank you, you're welcome, and when you make a mistake, own it.
And I have to.
Own it and fix it.
And fix it.
Right. I forgot about that part. Own it and fix it. And it's not I'm sorry.
No.
That doesn't fix it.
No, it doesn't fix it.
That just means you regret doing it or getting caught doing it.
Right.
But how do I make it right?
Correct.
How does the mistake I made, Jim, it was wrong of me to talk to you that way. God, that was so wrong of me. How do I make that right? How do I fix that? I'm so sorry.
I mean, it starts with apology.
Sure.
I mean, that in and of itself is a big step forward in the vulnerability of saying, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Now, you can go fix it by doing some other random act of kindness, perhaps, to help that person, right?
Yeah, some sort of living amends, right?
Sure.
Because you can't always, right? I might ask you that question, Jim. How do I make this right? How do I fix this? I don't know.
I don't know.
Dude. Just
Don't do it again.
right. Don't do it again.
Well, and in our own parenting, there are plenty of opportunities where we've had to work on the fix it part, right? And some creativity is required.
Yes.
Right. And I love that from the standpoint of engaging the brain to think of a solution that would make the other party feel better.
Yes.
Maybe it's making your bed. Maybe it's taking out the trash without being asked. Maybe it's washing my car when I come home from a trip and Monday morning, Dad's car is clean as a whistle.
It's all the above.
Oh, that one.
That one feels
That
nice.
one knocked me back a little bit. Like, my son went out of his way to do a random act of kindness for me because he knows that I like my car clean, but I'm coming home late on a Sunday and I'm not going to have a chance. Oh, wow. His stock price went up
Huge.
dramatically.
Right. He might have earned a ticket to Bandon next time.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
Even if it was the son that doesn't
Oh, it
play as
wasn't
much
that
golf.
one. It was
Yes.
the other one.
It was Jack.
Holy, that's a mind blow.
It was fabulous.
I would have figured it was the other one.
We're going to say them 42 more times today.
Yep.
Show up early and prepared.
Yeah. If you're
I like
chronically
early-
late,
I like
start with on
early-
time. If you can get to early, even better.
I like early and prepared
Absolutely.
as the gold standard.
Yes.
Say
That's
please,
birdie.
thank you, and you're welcome.
Yes.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Yes.
Finish what you start.
Yes.
I've struggled with this my entire life.
Yes.
Finish what you start.
You and I are great starters.
We have surrounded ourselves with finishers,
Correct.
and we could have a whole show on
Who, not
unique
how?
ability and who, not how,
We're
and
getting
all
there.
that good stuff.
We're getting there.
And then, honest to God, in the 19 years of being a business owner and in the almost 30 years, 28 years of being a financial advisor, is when I make a mistake, own it and fix it. And in that context, I'm specifically talking about client mistakes. And I'm going to take that even a step further, which is when I've made some kind of a mistake with their account. I didn't do a trade.
You don't throw Schwab under the bus?
No. That would be easy.
Right.
You know, a trade didn't happen when it was supposed to happen.
That's
a quantity didn't happen that was supposed to happen. I mean, hey, guess what? Wake up. We make mistakes.
Uh-oh.
Right? Now, the challenge in our business is those mistakes come directly out of my hind end.
Yeah.
Right?
They cost money.
They cost money and they come right out of our pocket.
Yes.
There's no slush fund or, sure, there's insurance for a
Big mistakes.
massive mistake. But I will tell you that the level of relationship when you own the mistake and you fix the mistake goes sky high.
Stock price goes up.
Sky high.
Yeah, that's a stock I'd like to own. Absolutely. So in the context of what we're doing here with graduation season, no matter where you are in parenting, in life, these 5 to Thrive principles are universal. And there's something we believe deeply. You can start showing and living the experience with your children from the very youngest ages,
You
right?
bet.
Because when we talk about parenting, right? If you're a parent pretty much for the rest of your life. That role as a parent never changes. If you
Permanente.
are, yes, if you are there, most things we have learned, we've talked on the show about how everything's temporary. Well, one thing that's not is once you're a parent, you're always a parent. Even when
It's not apparent.
you or that child crosses the rainbow bridge, you're always going to be a parent.
Yes.
Always.
Permanent
there's,
label.
There's something that changes in your heart, in your psyche, the energy that you bring when you go from not being a parent to being a parent. I can only explain it as a parent.
Yes. I described it as God gave me a new set of eyes.
There you go.
I
You
see
see differently.
differently.
Yes. I feel differently. My parents used to say things to me like, I just love differently as a parent. Like my dad used to talk about the love he had for mom versus the love he has for Daniel and me. And I never understood that when I was, what do you mean? You love somebody.
Right.
What's the difference?
It's one size.
Right. And, as a man, I'm older. I understand, like, physically how we might love our spouses differently than we love our children. But emotionally,
Yeah.
it's a different feeling.
I got you.
When you're a parent, it's a universal concept, but it's not a universal conversation. The parenting conversation.
Nice.
Uh-huh. And you and I have always felt that parenting has these 3 distinct phases. Kind of like retirement. We've talked about the different phases of retirement, right? Retirement's not just this universal, I stop working one day and I
Right.
play a bunch of golf and live on
Right.
my pension and
We have the
enjoy
go-go.
my gold watch. And,
Right.
We've got the phases,
Right.
right? We'll get there.
All right, we'll go.
We'll go there. We'll go there later. But when it comes to parenting, there's also 3 phases. And I kind of blame you Catholics on all this stuff because everything seems to happen in 3s, coming from the Catholic Church.
He's
right?
coming.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
I
He's
know,
coming.
I know. But if we look at the 3 phases of parenting, when we think back to when our littles were little, what was our primary job as a parent when the kids were tiny?
Exhaustion.
Well, that was the after effect of doing our job.
Oh.
Well, what was the job?
Oh, the
What did we
job.
keep them from?
Oh, everything.
Killing themselves.
Yes.
Right?
We were the cop.
We were the cop.
Yes.
Good job. Good memory.
Yes, thank you.
We were the cop, and our job was
Keep them safe.
preventative maintenance.
Keep
right?
them safe.
Safety patrol, right? We had handcuffs and, tasers and all sorts of stuff we needed to keep them from sticking their finger in the socket and cutting themselves and doing all sorts of things.
I'm in my head with a story of we went to friends. We were all, Beth was in the same mom's group, and one of the couples decided to have a party, and they'd moved from Oakland to Alamo.
This was
And
during the exhaustion stage.
This was during the kids were in the 3-ish, 4-ish range.
Oh, like peak exhaustion.
So they invite us to their new home, and they assured us that the new pool had a lovely fence around it that had a self-locking door.
Perfect.
And the kids were all playing in the yard, and the couple was like, "Let's go in and have a cocktail, and we have some appetizers." And I was like, "Yeah, you guys, yeah, go, you go do that." And I will distinctly never forget the husband saying, "No, it's going to be okay. They're totally fine. The pool's all locked up. Ba 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 ba." Yeah, you're okay. You're right. I just had
Something didn't feel right.
Yeah, I was slow to meander my way into the rest of the parents. And just before I kind of went inside the house, I looked back at the pool where, and I wish I could remember which kids. There were about 8 or 10 toddlers.
Ah,
But one of the toddlers was on the other toddler's shoulders and had reached up and had finagled a way to unlock the gate.
oh, good Lord.
And the door was opening.
And
As
and the herd was migrating in.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Not a swimmer to be found.
nice.
They would all have been floaties.
Yeah. Or sinkies.
Well, you've never seen dear old dad here move as fast.
You hustled, one
Yes.
might say.
Yes. And the other dad who was hosting was just, his head was coming off his body
Ah. So
at the potential horror.
was that the sound of his head coming out of his rear end?
Well, he felt terrible, and we went sprinting to the pool because what does a young child on a warm summer day do with a pool?
Head first, baby.
They go in.
yeah.
Right? So anyway, it all worked out
Sure.
fine, but
Cop. You were the cop.
that's one of my perennial favorite stories on being the cop.
Sure. And that's part of what we're trying to do here is create this a little bit of awareness of what, our responsibilities are as parents. And I think more parents have tuned into the whole concept of I'm a cop. What starts to happen, because as a cop, we do everything, right? Everything. But then at about that age, when you're at that party with 3 and 4-year-olds and they're starting to move around and they're developing a little bit of autonomy, they don't need you to do everything. They want to learn how to put on their own shoes. They want to learn how to feed themselves. They want to get dressed by themselves
Maybe ride a bike at 5-ish.
without you standing right next to them. They're developing a little bit of that autonomy. And this is where, if we're aware as parents, we're starting to move from that cop phase into what we've viewed as the coach phase.
The coach phase can start pretty young, and I remember I struggled with my cop hat on longer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Where without the recognition around it, I wasn't thinking so much as a coach, but I was still kind of a frustrated cop.
Sure. Well, you know what the frustrated cop is? That's the helicopter parent.
Ah.
Right? If you go from the cop phase to the coach phase and you keep your cop hat on,
Yes.
you have become
You're a helicopter?
Yeah, well, as a cop, you're now up in the helicopter hovering over a child who really needs some autonomy, who needs the freedom and for the first time in life, that gift of failure, that opportunity to learn life's lessons through some of these small little failures that kids have when they fall down and skin their knees, right?
Yeah.
That coach phase.
Yeah.
Oh, we used to. This was the time of life that I probably had regretted then the most because we were the cops. We were constantly doting on our boys when they were developing a little bit of autonomy.
Okay.
I remember distinctly we were at a party, my Uncle Marvin's birthday party in Palm Springs. Miles was probably 4 or 5 years old. And his shoes were untied. And I remember bending down and I'm trying to tie his shoe for him. And he's just swatting me away. Dad, leave me alone. And I saw him get up. He runs to the other side of the room. He sits down on his butt and ties his own shoes. And it blew me away. And then, just to stick it in me a little bit more, he starts walking around to all the other little kids there, sits down at their feet and starts untying and tying their shoes just to
Show
me,
Yes.
look what I can do, Dad.
You're right.
We have pictures of him tying all the other kids' shoes because it was
Of course you do.
such an incredible learning lesson as
Yeah.
a parent.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The coaching phase, whether you want it or not, is one where you can embrace the opportunity to let the kid have some autonomy.
Yes.
Right? And these are not absolutes, right? You are no longer not a cop. There is going to be a cop component to your coaching.
Sure.
Right? I don't see these as absolutes in my mind.
Sure.
Particularly looking back on it.
Yeah.
But you're trying to foster behavior. You're
Yes.
trying to foster activity and habits. And for me, I did not enjoy the cop phase. I enjoyed the coaching phase, but the one we're going to is the one that I'm now
'cause
deeply
we're in
and
it. Sure.
I'm enjoying it the most.
The biggest distinguisher, I think. So what does that look like from a parent standpoint of going from the cop phase to the coach phase? And the distinguisher is we start going into this time where we make suggestions, right? We're still telling our kids when they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Keep it
14.
going. Yeah.
We're still telling them, but we're doing it suggestively. I suggest that you, right?
Yeah. How'd that go over?
As a coach, it went over well, right? And then for my boys, right around 12, 13 years old, I would make a suggestion as the coach. I mean, let's just think of it as a little league coach, right? My 8-year-old boys, hey, I suggest you catch the ball with 2 hands. That took years. Catch the ball with 2 hands. Catch the ball with 2 hands.
Thousands of iterations.
Thousands of times, right?
Yeah. Beth, I can distinctly remember Beth being frustrated about things, and I'm like, yeah, it hasn't sunk in yet.
Right. Repetitive suggestions. They were suggestions. And part of if I were sitting here at 52 years old talking to my 38-year-old self who was in cop phase, I would talk to myself about detaching from the outcome of my suggestion.
Ooh,
Make the suggestion to the child and then detach from whether they take it or not, because what experience has taught us is that we're planting seeds. We make those suggestions because we're planting seeds, and eventually the little bugger's going to catch the damn ball with 2 hands. Eventually.
That's the cold wind
Right?
coming in at the thought
Of 105 degrees outside right now?
of detaching from an outcome.
Yes. Yes. And that,
About my child,
uh-huh.
who I want nothing more than to see them thrive and be happy and healthy and
Yes.
all smart and all of that. Right?
Absolutely. And you and I have learned that the greatest gift we can give them to have all of that is the sooner we allow them to experience failure and hardship and not getting it their way all the time, the more likely they're going to have everything you just described on your wish list. But the more we try to disrupt failure and hardship by continuing to be the cop in the coach phase, by being that helicopter parent, we rob our kids of that opportunity.
Because what is one of the greatest missing aspects of young adults today? Resilience.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Our dear friend, and I say that in a hopeful, wishful way, Brene Brown has made a career. She's made a spectacular career, but one of the driving principles is that resilience only comes from struggle and overcoming struggle.
Yes.
And I don't know of something harder than watching your kids struggle, let alone fail,
Sure.
right? Because failure in our society is really not that acceptable.
It's not celebrated unless you're the very best at what you do. Because if you're the very best at what you do, failure is part of the formula.
Well,
so
and-
you've embraced it and you have a different relationship with it than the masses who are okay with mediocrity.
Well said.
Right?
That was a good little rant. I mean, Michael Jordan's whole thing about I may be the greatest basketball player of all time, but I missed 6,000 shots.
Right.
Whatever. Don't hang me on the number. But
Sure.
I like that because it is pointing out the fact that if you don't try, right, and failure is inevitable if you're going to try.
Yes.
So to remove the opportunity for failure is ultimately not developing what we believe is some of the most powerful skills you can have, which is resilience.
It's taken the fruits and vegetables out of the diet. I mean, it's critical. And if what we've experienced, again, having hindsight as a benefit here.
Oh, that's why grandparenting is going to be such a freaking blast.
Easy. It's going to be easy, right? Because we're going to watch our own children spin at trying to prevent mishaps and misfortunes.
And we're going to sit in the rocking chair with our lemonade and chuckle.
And see, exactly. Chuckle. What a great word. Where this becomes really beneficial is, like I was starting to say, where Miles and Lucas, once they hit about 13 years old, the suggestions started falling on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
I became the dumbest dude on earth.
Oh, and Janine and I on the ride up today, we're talking about that.
Yes. That is when you graduate. Speaking of graduation, that is when you graduate from being the coach to now into that third and final extended phase of parenting. This is where you will now be for the rest of your life as a parent. And that is the consultant phase.
Yes.
It starts somewhere in the preteen to early teen years.
Yeah, for me, it was later. It was more 17, 18.
Oh, you did a good job brainwashing your kids
in that area. And, we lightheartedly talk about, our stock price as parents going up and down.
Yeah.
But it's that middle school, early high school phase where my stock price was pretty much at an all-time low, having nothing to do with my behavior or conduct. Right? It was more the perception from the marketplace on my skills, talents, and abilities.
Yeah.
Right? Which was de minimis.
Yeah.
Was low.
Yeah.
But then as you start to go into the consulting phase, and I think, frankly, the longer you're in the consulting phase, the smarter you become to the child.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Well, they can hear more from you.
And your stock price starts to go up again.
Correct.
Where they start to come to you with a question.
Right.
Hey, Dad, what do you think I should do about?
Right, but where does that doesn't just happen. That doesn't happen by itself. They learn that, right? This is all about
if you give them the space.
If you give them the space and you model the behavior, right? This is part of the whole concept within 5 to Thrive and part of the whole, what we're doing this summer and how we're interacting with our children and reflecting on that. If you're in that consultant phase, the difference in how you communicate as a cop, as a coach, and now as a consultant to your children is wildly different. I was told a while ago that there are only 3 things my boys will hear as a statement coming out of my mouth early in the consultant phase. Everything else is going to sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Want, 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 want. But they will hear, I'm proud of you, I love you, and I believe in you. Everything else I have to say to them at that point in life, and I'm talking 13, 14, 15, 16, right at the launch of kind of, Dad, you're the dumbest dude in the room, and I don't want to hear anything about what you have to say. I don't want a suggestion. I don't want you to tell me how to do anything because I got it, right? Super autonomy stage. Those were the only 3 statements they could have heard come out of my mouth that would have sunk in with gratitude. Everything else, I had to learn how to ask a question.
Well, isn't that the hallmark of the consultant?
Yes.
Right? I mean,
how to craft great open-ended questions.
If we're having Old Home Week here on the show and it's greatest hits, we've got to bring back the Colonel. We got to bring back Jim Kelly, right? Who was the first consultant that I ever worked with that used to annoy the ever-living SHIT out of me because I would ask him a question. So, Jim, what do you think I should do about blank?
Well, I don't know, Jim. What do you think you should do about blank?
Bingo.
Yeah.
And I'm paying you for this?
Yep.
I am paying you
to answer my
to
question.
Flip the question around with a question.
Yes.
You son of a...
Brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. That's how I interact with my adult sons now.
Yeah.
Because they have come to me with questions, and I will automatically, unless I have had direct experience with what they're dealing with. My oldest son, Miles, is the lead flight instructor at a local flight school here in Sacramento. So
you have to be a pilot. You've stayed enough nights at Holiday Inn Expresses. You have to be a pilot.
I can fake it. I've flown the plane a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah, with him sitting next to me and his arms crossed, which scared the crap out of me. As a pilot, which I don't do that for a living, I don't have direct experience with that. So occasionally he will come to me and ask me a question about how to deal with conflict at work, and I will answer it with a question. Well, how do you feel you should deal with that? I don't know. Well, what do you think about just having some quiet time and just letting the answer come?
What would it look like if you did know?
There you go.
Oh, Jim asked me that one a number of times, and I just wanted to take whatever implement I could find and hurt him with it.
Yeah, water bottle would be great.
Because I was just like, oh, no, I'm looking for answers.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, grasshopper.
Yes.
The answers are inside of you.
Yes, exactly. They're already there. They're already there. And that's the beauty of being a consultant to your children is realizing that they have the answers they need. Your job as a parent now is to redirect them inward to find it. It's not about giving them the answer. Now, I've had questions from my boys about life experiences where I have had some personal experience. And the way I answer their question is I tell them about my experience and my choice. I don't tell them what they should do. I reflect on my experience. Take it or leave it. This is what I did in that situation, right? Lucas was asking me, he had a little credit card balance. He's relatively new as an owner of a credit card, and I've given him some of the basics. He asked me, hey, how does this work? I know I need to build credit. How does this work?
Well, you referred him back to his high school classes on personal finance and budgeting and cash flow?
Since he didn't grow up in the state of Rhode Island, unfortunately, he grew up here in California. We didn't have any of that.
So this is all new to him.
Correct.
Oh.
Correct. He did have a senior year business class, but they really didn't get into any of the basics of personal finance.
I mean, that would have made too much sense.
It would have made way too much sense. So he gets that from being at home with parents who are willing to show him how to have a healthy relationship with money. A lot of that is through experience where he sees how I interact with money.
Mm-hmm.
So we've become a little bit more open in our household as our boys grew up.
Yeah.
Sunday was always bill day. And it was, hey, guys, come on. We're going to sit at the dining room table before dinner, and I'm going to show you how we pay the bills.
Lose our appetite and pay some bills.
Exactly. Get a little nauseous so we eat a little less and we'll all get a little thinner. It was a beautiful strategy. My boys didn't need that. I did. So he's asking me questions about how a credit card works and explaining some of that to him, only to find out he made some mistakes. Well,
Beautiful.
Dad, what do I do? He didn't pay a bill on time. Dad, what do I do?
Fantastic.
Well, when I was in that situation, I picked up the phone. I called the credit card company because I needed to own my mistake and do whatever I could to fix it. And what's amazing in the world of finance is when we get a little bit behind on our bills and we feel a little bit of overwhelm as a result, the worst thing we could do is nothing.
Nothing.
The best thing we could do is pick up the phone, own the mistake that we made, and have a willingness to make it right. 5 to Thrive. And my experience has taught me every single time I've done that, even though I'm dealing with large financial institutions, there's a human being on the other end of that phone
Hallelujah.
who is willing to be compassionate and helpful because they're probably in their own head with their own mistakes they've made, when someone can come with humility and own and fix the mistake. And there, my son Lucas has done that. So
fantastic. So he picked up the telephone.
He did, and that's just sharing my own experience. It's not I didn't tell him to pick up the phone.
Lucas, this is what you need to do now.
Correct. I did not do that.
It didn't go like that.
This is what I did. I circled back with him a week later. Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
Yeah.
How's the credit card debacle going? Oh, Dad, well, I paid the bill. I called them and it wasn't too late, and I paid it off. Hey, great job, buddy. Right? And that was it. I didn't tell him what to do, just got to share
Right.
in both the pain of it as well as the solution of it. It was a wonderful experience.
I know I've shared on the show before how Beth and I have always done an exquisite job of celebrating our achievements and our successes.
Yes.
And in the last several years, we've made an intention to share more of our failures and more of our struggles and more of our mistakes
with the children,
with the kids.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't serve them in the end to just think of mom and dad as these perfect human beings.
Sure.
In every regard.
Well, yeah.
And we've talked even recently about, the concept, and we talk about the concept of relationship on the show. Yep. And how, relationships require work and effort and vulnerability and all of these kind of things that are oogie, uncomfortable, and messy. But if we don't, then the relationship's not going to work, right? And same applies to your health. Same applies to your finances, right?
Absolutely.
And getting vulnerable with your children so that they don't just think of you of these perfect specimens that have never made a mistake.
Yes.
And well, okay, maybe you are. Maybe you are somebody that's never made a big monumental mistake. And if that's the case, I actually feel sorry for you.
Right.
Because that's where the growth happens. The growth happens when you're out living life, daring to be great, and you fail.
How else can you fully appreciate and enjoy the life's greatest accomplishments?
Well, but
if you don't have a screw up to measure it against.
But I know a lot of people that are not willing to take the risk, and the choice that they're making is by not taking action. And so I always feel bad because I have failed a lot in my life, in virtually every area of my life.
Sure.
And that to me is where the richness of the reward comes from, is from being able to struggle and you get to the next mountaintop and you get the vista.
Yes.
And you get that magnificent view only to realize that it's an endless series of mountains that you have to climb, son.
Absolutely.
Look, and you're going to go down the next mountain and through the valley and up the next one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I love this conversation as a way to engage with kids of any age this summer, recognize and acknowledge kind of where you are in that parenting phase.
Yes.
But as we've said, instead of taking your foot off the gas and just kind of letting it all go this summer and unplugging and allowing yourself and your family to be disengaged, this is a wonderful way to engage.
Right. Well, and we've created an entire summer curriculum that you can go back into financial sobriety land, into the podcast.
Whatever your favorite podcast platform is.
Well, whether, it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're out there and we're all over the place. But go back to probably where you're listening to us today would be a good place to go back and listen to the Teach Your Children series from last summer, the summer before. We've even heard a rumor from Ace that he might even consider redropping all those episodes just for fun.
Sure.
So you might get them following this episode as an option to spend some summer learning a little bit more about the curriculum of how you can take to your children age-appropriate conversations and concepts that help them get really intentional in these three complicated relationships that we all have. We all have them. We have a relationship with money. We have a relationship with people. We have a relationship with ourselves. And they get really, really oogie sometimes and really, really complicated sometimes. And there's no better time to have these conversations when the children are out of school, work has maybe slowed down a little bit, and you have this time to invest. So I'm thrilled that we've come back into the studio to talk about this a little today. But I want to pivot for a second.
I know, and I'm gonna
Go
pivot.
ahead.
I'm gonna pivot you.
You're gonna pivot us?
So in the context of our 2-day session here, our 2-episode session on graduation.
Yes.
What else is graduating?
Ooh. Financial sobriety. The podcast is graduating. Now,
What does that mean?
Now we've just spent 2 days defining and building content around what we believe is graduation. It's not the end.
No.
It's not the finale.
No.
It's a pause. It's a pivot. It's a new direction. If you've been with us since the beginning, if you showed up on day one in the studio with me, I was a financial train wreck. I was ready to check out and cross the Rainbow Bridge. I didn't want to live anymore.
It was that bad.
Because of how bad my relationship with money had me feeling about myself, the impact that it had on my family.
Yeah.
And through this journey of financial sobriety, of becoming more intentional in these relationships, I've been able to have financial sobriety. I've been able to create wealth in my life in ways that I never thought I could by simply following the formula of what it takes to find financial sobriety in these three relationships. If you've been with us from the beginning and you're anything like me, you're probably at a point now where you too have a healthier relationship with yourself. As a result, you have a healthier relationship with your people.
And we've been on this journey for how long now?
And you probably have a healthier relationship with money if you've been on this journey with us for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So if these relationships are healthier, not perfect, but healthier, then you might be asking, what's next? That, my friends, is what we call the whole wealth journey. And that is what's next for financial sobriety.
The whole wealth journey.
We're going to talk more about what that means and what that looks like when we come back on the next episode of the whole wealth journey. And with that, my friend,
that's a wrap.
If you like what you heard, leave us a review and be sure to subscribe. And check out our website, yourfinancialsobriety.com. Thanks again for listening today. Here to help you find more clarity, confidence, and capability along your journey into financial sobriety. I'm Matthew Grishman.
And I'm Jim Gebhardt.
Be intentional with your money.
Jim Gebhardt is a registered representative of and securities offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Jim Gebhardt and Matthew Grishman are investment advisor representatives of Gebhardt Group Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, and Gebhardt Group Incorporated are not affiliated. The opinions in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or investment recommendations. To determine which investments or financial advice may be appropriate for you, consult a financial advisor prior to investing. Any reference to market performance is based on historical information, and there is no expressed or implied guarantee of future performance. Opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. The topics discussed and opinions given are not intended to address the specific needs of any listener. Gebhardt Group Incorporated does not offer legal or tax advice. Listeners are encouraged to discuss their financial needs with the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.